Hello. I've looked at your video here about your firebomb car, and the initial adjuster come out. He said your damage exceeds the value of your car. That's just something there. That's what all adjusters do. Adjusters will look for excuses to diminish your claim to nothing, so they're off the hook for whatever's actually due. There's a fine line due to the business aspect of an insurance company. They're making deals with the auto industry to get a wholesale discount, and then they're leaving you, the consumer, to pay in a retail, and you're stuck to make up the difference. I had a hit and run accident about a year ago. My vehicle was damaged in my driveway. The estimate I was given was very insulting. As the adjuster drove away, I'm looking at the invoice because that's what I do for a living, and there was a lot of discrepancies that I observed on it within 10 minutes of looking at it. For one, the materials they were using were from a scrapyard, which there's no problem with that. The problem is there was no labor to transfer parts from the salvage parts back to the existing parts. There's no guarantee the salvage parts are even usable. In my case, the door was crushed, and there was no labor charge to transfer the window or the electric motor or any of the hardware, only the trim piece. And I had that checked. I had another estimate written up, and it was $1,000 more than the check they gave me. My deductible is $250. It don't add up. And I'm very distraught with that because this happened a year ago and my car still has not been fixed. And 6 months ago there was a vandalism incident similar to your firebombing, where somebody had poured a household cleanser in the fuel tank and in the engine oil. I had 3 cars damaged at the same time. I found the household cleansing product in the radiator. There was dirt and some kind of cleaning product inside the power steering, inside the engine oil. I found sand in the transmission. It gave me trouble within 500 miles. And in every case, each one of these cars, the damages exceeds the book value of the car, or the trade-in value, is what Kelly Blue Book rates it at. And one of these vehicles that I just purchased from the dealer, paid cash for it, and the replacement parts alone is more than I paid for the car. This happened 4 months ago. I spent a bunch of money having it checked out by an independent mechanic per the request of State Farm. Never been compensated for that. Never been compensated for all the oil changes these had to go through. Complete fluid change. I was quoted $80 to wash out the radiator on one. And all these engines had to be chemically flushed several times to get rid of the dirt. I've had to send each oil sample off and have it tested by an independent lab. The standard test was inconclusive, so I ordered a secondary test on them, and the particle count determined by the lab was just about off the charts. It was very high. One of these engines had the oil poured in it and it had been started only. It had run maybe 30 minutes. And it come back with abnormal levels of particles larger than the pores in the filter. And I called State Farm and complained to them about the claims process, why the adjuster refused to send somebody out to examine the vehicles within a timely manner. The lady became very upset with me because I told her that I was draining the oil out of them. I had to fix the brakes because the brakes went out completely on the car I drive every day. I mean, there was no brakes on it at all. The only brake that worked on it was the handbrake, the emergency brake. That's the only brake that worked on the car because somebody had poured something in the fluid and it just turned it to jello. And this happened on 3 different cars. Just truck I just bought, the brakes on it are spongy now, and I just had the dealership work on them before I took delivery of it. There should have been no problem with the brake fluid, but yet it was diluted, and just by sucking the fluid out of the reservoir and pulling new fluid in, the brake performance improved. It's a no-brainer that there was something diluted that fluid. But back to my point of work where I called State Farm to complain about the claims adjuster not sending somebody out to examine the vehicles. I was immediately handed off to a supervisor because I stated to them that I will come in and drop my coverage with State Farm just because they will not handle my claim. They won't send an adjuster out. They won't do anything to determine the cause of the loss or the amount of the loss. They call it scope of damages. So now I'm stuck with 3 vehicles with major mechanical damages that have done nothing to remedy the problem. They're expecting me to pay for all the repairs out of pocket up front. And once again, in your situation, the adjuster said the repair cost is more extensive than the value of the car. So if I pay out, this one car is a Mercedes diesel. If I pay out $14,000 to replace the engine, do you think State Farm is going to give me a check for $14,000 on a car with a book value of $4,000? I don't think so. I have no intention of dealing with State Farm any longer. I've already paid out nearly $3,000 in diagnostic fees, laboratory fees, fluids, work I had to do that was within the scope of my profession, and I've never been compensated for anything, not one penny. But yet I'm expected to have these vehicles tore down at my own expense and allow State Farm to come in and examine the damage. But there's no guarantee they're going to even satisfy the repair cost. But I'm right with you. Get rid of State Farm. All they're doing is making excuses to pad their pocket and deny customers of legitimate claims. I'm really frustrated with the entire claims process. I have 4 claims with State Farm and 1 with some company through Geico on my renter's policy because my mowing equipment was damaged as well. And to date, I've received nothing on any of these claims because mechanical damage is very hard to prove. You can't see it. The only way you can see it is to take it to an expert and have it dismantled. But I've got a car with a book value of around $1,000, and the dealership quoted me $3,800 to tear it down for inspection only. $3,800 on something worth $1,000? That's bad business. Period. I would encourage you not to have any dealings with State Farm just because of their influence. I've spoken to the State Insurance Commission, and as soon as I filed a complaint with the State Insurance Commission, State Farm sent an adjuster out within 2 days. It was very persistent. They didn't even allow me to make time to be present for the examination. So I'm really glad that this preacher man, I don't remember your name. I'm really glad that you're stating your position here. You know, I received a letter from State Farm also indicating that they've hired some attorney to do some kind of interview with me. And I should have received a letter from that legal office, and I've not received one to date. But yet State Farm just started hammering me on the telephone after they said that that I would be hearing from their legal counsel. It's just a bunch of two-faced lies between the claims personnel of the company and the state regulators. The consumer I could care less about the consumer. Thanks for your time.